Where are all the new DSLRs? Well, there's one right here, said Olympus, handing me the E-30. Well, that shut me up. So the E-30 is the new camera to the Olympus E-System stable. It's sat just below the E3 and just above the E520 or the new E620, as what was just released at Focus and PMA. And it's got 12.3 million pixels, which is 2 million higher than the flagship model. It's got 11 point fully biaxial auto and manual focus points. It's got the live MOS sensor, and it's got the third generation TruePic turbo processor. So here's the Olympus E-30 in close-up. This one's fitted with the 12-60 f2.8 to f4 ED Zuico lens. And now to take you on a quick tour around the camera, we'll start on the top plate. Now noticeably is the command dial. That's something that you don't normally find on pro spec cameras, which easily sets it apart straight away from the E3. On the other side of the prism and hot shoe is the LCD top plate, which will show you how many pictures you've got left, what mode you're in, ISO, white balance, all those kind of important features that you need to know. If you're shooting in the dark, this light button will light that up so you can see it easier with a nice orange glow. White balance button, obviously for adjusting white balance. Exposure compensation is actually quite good on this camera. It's up to 5 stops, which is pretty good and should come in useful for most types of photography. Dedicated ISO button, and then if you press both together, it'll reset functions. The shutter button has been covered with this kind of black plastic coating, which is a little unusual but not unattractive. And your finger wheel for adjusting your aperture, when your thumb wheel for adjusting the shutter speed when you're in manual modes are sat right there. Now staying on the back, and you've got these buttons are normally seen on the E3 on the top here where the command dial is, which is why they've been shunted down here. And you've got your metering, your AF button, bracketing if you hit both together, and your different drive modes for continuous shooting and self-timer. On the other side, you've got your function button and your AF points, which will then allow you to choose which autofocus point you want to use. So if you're doing portraits, for instance, you might want to, if you're shooting this way up, you can then say, right, the eye is going to be about there, so I will set that point there to focus on, and it will always be in the right place. It means that the camera isn't going to accidentally choose the wrong area to focus on, which is quite a good idea. The screen is completely movable, or articulated as they call it in the industry, which is quite good for when you're using your live view. The live view as well is also a very good feature. So you just hit the display button on the bottom, brings live view up. Now the good thing is when you focus in, it will only dim slightly. It won't actually completely black out so you can't see anything. So you can still actually see what's going on in there. And that's because the mirror raises slightly, which hits on another mirror, which then goes down into an autofocus sensor. And it's a slightly smaller sensor which is sat on the floor of the mirror box, and that focuses for you, allowing you to still see the majority of the image. It's similar to an older live view system that Olympus had on a different model camera, which I won't bore you with the details on that one. Now going out of there, we can go back to the main function menu here. Now this can be accessed just by pressing the OK button, and when you're in it, the icon that you're on will highlight yellow, and then you can just move around up and down, left and right, and choose which mode you want to go into just by saying OK, and then OK onto the correct one. Now the good thing about that, like I said then, you can go up and down, left and right, but the problem is that when you actually go into one of the features, you then can't go up and down, you can only go left and right. I find that a little bit confusing. I think it's a bit of a simple mistake to make that Olympus could easily rectify, but it's been going on for quite a few models now, and it's getting to be a little annoying. The main menu button is on the bottom there, and you've got your 5 tabs down the side, which you can then choose what you want to do. The custom menu on the first spanner is vast, so make sure that you get to grips with that before you start changing things. Make sure that you know what you're doing before you start messing around with it.